Welcome back, and we will be doing a study on Luke 14 this morning. I hope the last videos has been blessing for you and you have been learning a lot, and it's helping you to develop your understanding and knowledge of who God is and His desires, His plans and purposes for you. When we come to Luke 14, there's one of the very interesting thing that Jesus talks about is a cost of discipleship. And if you read Luke chapter 14, starting verse 25, Jesus says this, or the verses says this. Now great crowds accompanied him, and he turned and said to them, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother, and wife and children, and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king going out to encounter another king in war will not sit down first and deliberate whether he is able with 10,000 or with 20,000? And if not, while the other is yet a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks for terms of peace. So therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple. And it's been a very interesting portion in gospel that you find and among the teachings of Jesus. Now, every time we talked about doing what God has called you to do, every time we talked about following Jesus, every time we talk about having a relationship with Jesus, we always come back to this portion of scripture and try to draw our inspiration, our motivation, our desire, even to draw our intention on why we wanting to follow Jesus, why we want to do the work of ministry, why we want to do the things that He has called us to do. This portion of scripture has always been a standard to define how life looks like the day we start to follow Jesus. And what Jesus started to speak in verse 25 and until verse 32, he summarizes everything in the last verse, and we will talk about that verse specifically this morning. He summarizes everything in verse 33 and says, so therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple. If you read some other translation, it reads this way, Luke 14:33. So therefore, none of you can become my disciple if you do not give up all your possession. And it's very interesting the way Jesus puts it, and it's for us to understand what exactly Jesus is trying to say, what exactly he means when he says, give all your possession or renounce everything that you have. If you don't do it, you cannot be my disciple. But how does that renouncing look like? What does Jesus mean when he says give away your possession? What did Jesus mean when he says renounce everything? Is it talking about just a specific area of our life, or he's talking about our life in general? Is it talking about the possession we carry in terms of money or wealth, or he's talking about every aspect of area, either it's job, whether it's our authority, either our ministry, either our skill, or either our abilities? What does exactly he is talking about? And in order to understand, in order to draw our conclusion, in order to develop our understanding of what Jesus is exactly talking about here, we'll have to look into the meaning of word possession, or when he says word renounce. When he says, it says, does not renounce all that. What does all that mean? What does his possession mean? If you look into the Greek Bible, or if you try to study the Gospel of Luke in Greek, because it was originally written in Greek, the word for the possession, or the word for possess is huparko, right? The word that is used in Greek and that later that was translated into possession or into all that is the word huparko, which means, which basically means to begin, to be ready, or at hand to be. See, if you if you apply, if you try to apply the original meaning of that word into that scripture, it can be put this way. Jesus is saying, so therefore, any one of you who is not ready to give up, who is not ready to let go, who's not ready to surrender, cannot be my disciple. Other meaning of the word huparko can also be existency, or the word called proprietorship, or it's a possession kept under someone's authority. Right? The word huparko means that it's something, the two usages of word, one is to ready, to be ready, to be begin with, or which is at hand to be, or it's something that is under your authority. So what Jesus is implying here is the cost of discipleship, the cost of following Jesus is that you're always ready to let go of things in your life. It's not only in the context of wealth or money, it's not only the context of job, it's not only the context, it's not in one specific context, but in your life in general, that you don't value anything that you have in your life more than Christ. And if you try to summarize everything, it all leads us to the first commandment that Jesus gave in New Testament, which was, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. It's saying giving God always first place, giving Him the first place, giving Him first place in every aspect of your life, every area of your life. Is saying, Jesus is saying, if you want to follow me, this is how you need to be. This is how you need to live your life. This is how your thought process should be. This is how your mentality should be, is that you are always ready to go the things that you have under your control. Which means we are not controlling things, but Jesus is. We are giving Him the full control of every aspect of our life. The way we make decisions, the way we decide our career, the way we decide what we're going to do, the way we decide what we're going to buy, the way we're going to decide the relationship that we want to be, the way you decide where we're going to invest our money and our time and our energy. When we decide what we're going to pursue in our life, every aspect of our life, what we're doing is we're not keeping a control to ourselves, but we are giving control to Jesus. And that's what Jesus meant. Jesus did not mean for you to live your life as a poor person, or to deny the prosperity that God is bringing you, to deny the progress that God is giving you. Saying, if you prosper, if you progress, it's the same. This is not what Jesus is meaning. Jesus is saying, if you're rich, give me the control of your life. If you're poor, give me the control of your life. Jesus is saying that you give your authority, you give away your authority, you give your control to me. The way you do your family, give Jesus a control. The way you pursue a relationship, give Jesus a control. The way you read your organization, your ministry, your career, your family, everything, giving Jesus a control. And Jesus is saying, this is the cost of my discipleship. That any one of you who does not, or who is not ready to let go of anything that is under his or her authority, cannot be my disciple. Because God cannot disciple you, God cannot lead you, God cannot direct you, God cannot help you if you don't let Him do it. If you keep control in your hands, He will never be able to do things in your life that you expect Him to do. It's living a life of surrender. That's it what Jesus meant when He said, let go of all your possession, or saying let go of all that. In other words, huparko is to begin you, that you're ready to hold things in your hand, that you're willing to put it down to receive the things that God is willing to give you in your hand. It's not that when God is giving you things that He wants to give you in your hand, you don't put down the things that you have in your hand, but you rather try to squeeze what God is giving into the hand, into your hand, which is already full. This is not what Jesus is meaning. And this is the cost of discipleship. In my opinion, the thing that I would like to suggest is, for a very long time we have misinterpreted it as scripture in a context of that we have always looked at in a reference of wealth. We have always looked this scripture in a reference of prosperity, but that's not what Jesus is meaning. Jesus was meaning every aspect of your life, not only one aspect. Jesus was not meaning for you to not to have certain things in your life. He wants you to have it. Only thing he desires is he wants you to have it the way he wants you to have it. Not your way, but God's way. And that's what he was implying when he says, give away all things. Let go of it. Huparko. Be ready. Be ready to do, be ready to let go what is in your hand. Be ready to let go of your property. Be ready to let go of your wealth. Ready to be let go of your career. Be ready to let go of your goods. Be ready to let go of your skills and abilities. Be ready to let go of your dreams. Be ready to let go of your travel plans. Be ready to let go of your everything, that your clothes, your shoes, your watch, your laptop, your money, your bicycle, your motorcycle, your car. It's just every aspect of your life. It's not one aspect. And Jesus is saying that's how you ought to live your life if you want to follow me. That you never bring anything close to your heart except me. Everything is in your hand. Anytime you can drop it for the things that I'm willing to give you, because the only thing that we can have close to our hearts is Jesus. And that's what Jesus meant when he said, this is the cost of my discipleship. That before you follow me, before you say yes to do my work, before you say yes to my service, count the cost. Because how foolish it would be that the same way that Jesus used an illustration saying, for which you desire to build a tower, but you never counted a cost. And on halfway you building a tower, you lost all your money and everybody started to make fun of you. Same way, when you desire to do work of ministry, when you desire to do what God has called you to do, when you desire to dedicate your whole life to do the service of Christ, you have to sit and count the cost to know what it's going to take from you, because that's the cost of discipleship. That's the cost of following Christ, that you are living your life, that you don't consider your authority over everything, and you're always willing to let it go. You're always willing to give it away. You're always willing to give away your reputation, your rights, your desires, what people think about you, what people speak about you. You're willing to give your fame. You're willing to give your career. Either you have a follower of 50 people, or you have 5,000 people following you, or if you have 5 lakh people following you. You're willing to give it all away for the sake of Christ. And that's what Jesus meant. And this is the cost of discipleship, that we always live a life they're willing to let go of everything that we have for the sake of